Hi everybody, this is Julie with You to Be Healthy, and I'm coming to you today again live to talk to you about soy and some of the myths around soy and kind of dispelling some of them. I get a lot of people that come to me and say, well, I know there's a lot of good benefits of soy, such as lowering your cancer risk or lowering your heart disease risk, lowering your cholesterol levels, all that fun stuff. But my doctor tells me I can't take soy because I'm a breast cancer survivor, or I can't take soy because I'm a man and it'll make me more feminine, or I can't take soy because I'm allergic to it. And I want to kind of dispel a lot of those myths because a while back, I want to say a number of years ago, one little kind of insignificant study was conducted with very few participants in a very short period of time, which pretty much tells you right there it's not a very good study. Sort of kind of came to a somewhat conclusion that it thought maybe, see how definite that is, that there might be a link to soy and breast cancer. Now, unfortunately, the news media, must have been a slow news day that day, took that tiny little study in its headline and ran with it, not bothering to double check any sources to see if it was a legitimate study, if it could be countered by other studies, none of that. They just wanted to sell headlines. And they don't really care about your health. So they just kind of threw that out there and it went like wildfire, like fake news often does. And it caused a whole problem where soy became the enemy. And what's interesting, I noticed, I remember reading this somewhere, where the original author of that study that started that firestorm of fakeness recounted it. He said he could not reproduce the results, he could not verify the results, and he himself said it's probably an inaccurate study. But the damage was done. The news media outlets took it and ran with it, and everybody bought into it, except those who know to do their research. So I'm going to put together a little bit of information from different reputable sources that kind of dispel some of those myths that damage from that study has done. All right, so, soy is kind of foreign to us in America. Oftentimes, we think of that as, an Eastern type of food, but actually, soy is a product used worldwide. And what they're coming to conclusions about is Asian people, who typically consume much more soy than us in the West do, have much lower cancer levels. They have much lower heart disease issues. And they thought it might have been just because of genetics, but what they've discovered is those people, if they move to, say, America and then adopt our lifestyles and our eating habits, their statistics go right up with ours. So it must be the diet, not genetics. Now, obviously, there are some cancers that are genetic, but I'm not saying that there aren't. But majority of cancers and heart disease especially can be prevented with diet. So, don't discount that. So, again, a lot of these soy bashers that are out there aren't really doing their homework, because where there might have been one or two or small amounts of studies done that's showing that maybe soy is not good for you, there are countless others that say it's very good for you. And we're talking quality studies where they're looking at large groups of individuals over a long period of time, and it can be reproduced. And that's how studies get into peer-reviewed journals. And good doctors and good researchers study peer-reviewed journals, where it's very hard to get a study published because it has to meet so many stringent requirements, and it has to be able to be duplicated by their peers. So therefore, if it makes the cut into those journals, it's good information. And a good doctor will only really get his source from that, and not the news media or, some tabloid. All right. So what if you're allergic to it? I do get that question a lot. Really, studies show that probably less than 8% of the population of the world is technically allergic to soy. What has happened is someone who says they're allergic to it, or they had a bad reaction to, say, a soy protein shake or something, probably weren't allergic to the soy. they were allergic to the way it was manufactured. And a lot of manufacturers use chemicals to extract the soy. I highly recommend going with a company that uses cold water pressed version to get that soy isoflavonoid out of the plant, and you don't want to use chemicals. So chances are they weren't allergic to the soy, they were just allergic to the chemicals and the way it was processed. All right, so let's go over a couple myths. Myth number 1, consuming soy can increase the risk of breast cancer. That is probably the number 1 misconception out there. For, I would say, more than 20 years, the U.S. National Cancer Institute and laboratories around the world have been rigorously investigating the role of soy in compared to breast cancer and breast cancer prevention. So again, we go back to the Asian market and that race, they have such a lower level of breast cancer, and studies are showing that approximately about 2/3 of breast cancer is estrogen sensitive. And what's interesting about soy is it has anti-estrogenic effects that actually help decrease those type of estrogen cancer, types of breast cancer. So, and to top it off, they found that the soy does not increase the tissue density or cause breast cancer cells to multiply. So if someone says, well, I'm currently fighting breast cancer, they shouldn't avoid soy, because soy is actually known to help with the multiplication of the cells. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that soy is going to cure cancer. I can't say that or prevent it. But soy and its health benefits would only benefit a cancer patient. It would definitely, unless they could link it to the actual, that the person's allergic to soy and it caused this, which is highly unlikely. All right. So, and there's also studies are showing that high consumption of soy, an adequate consumption of soy in a breast cancer survivor has shown to decrease the recurrence of breast cancer. So again, don't fall for the myth that soy causes breast cancer. It's the opposite. All right. So myth number 2, soy causes thyroid problems. Again, probably dozens of studies have looked at the effects of soy and soy protein on thyroid function, and they have found no connection and stuff. So, people say, well, I had my thyroid removed. The only suggestion I would recommend, if you're concerned about the soy protein affecting your synthetic thyroid medication, which you should not stop taking. I'm not advocating you stop taking that. If you're concerned at any type of all where the soy might interfere with the absorption of the medication, they just say, according to research scientists, you take your medication, I believe, on an empty stomach anyway, or like first thing in the morning. Just wait a half hour to an hour before you maybe drink your soy protein drink. It's not going to affect your thyroid medication. It's not going to cause any type of an issue. And if you already are a normal person who still has their thyroid and stuff, or maybe they have a thyroid issue and such, but you still have your thyroid, the soy protein will not cause it to enlarge. It will not cause you to have thyroid cancer. It will not cause you to have any issues with your thyroid. Again, it's very healthy for the body. And again, I'm not saying it's going to cure cancer or cure your thyroid cancer or prevent thyroid cancer, but there's no connection with the soy causing any thyroid problems. Again, these are sensational studies done that are not legitimate. And again, the news headlines grab anything that they can do to sell airtime and grab people's attention, and then sensationalize it. And they really don't care about your health or even the truth. So keep that in mind. Don't believe everything you see on the news media. Do your research. Myth number 3. This one kind of makes me laugh. Men should not consume soy because it'll make them more feminine. That's simply not true. I don't know how that got started. I really don't know where that came from. I think someone just grabbed that one out of the air. I'll give you a hint. My husband has drank a soy protein drink every day, and sometimes for lunch a second time. for years, and he is very manly. He is not feminine at all. And really, most studies done, I would say probably over 30 that I know of, they don't have effect on male testosterone levels whatsoever. And it does not make men feminine. It does not cause estrogen to rise in men. Men have estrogen too, just not as much as we do, us women. But it doesn't cause the estrogen level to rise and the testosterone level to lower. It doesn't do any of that. It doesn't have any effect on male testosterone at all. In fact, it actually makes men healthier. It's good for protein is our founding building block of everything. Our hair, our skin, our nails, our organs, everything is built on protein. And a man who consumes soy protein tends to be healthier. And there's nothing sexier than a healthy man. And so please don't fall for that myth. There's nothing related to male testosterone and soy whatsoever. So that, just completely forget that one. Myth number 4, there's no evidence saying that health benefits of soy protect against heart disease. That is a myth. Soy has been proven to decrease the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, and give a modest increase to the HDL, which is the good cholesterol. Plus, soy has been known to reduce triglyceride levels. It helps lower blood pressure, and it helps promote good artery health. The benefits of soy is also really good for women who are going through menopause and dealing with the hot flashes and the mood swings. It's interesting, again, they go back to the Asian population, and women there who consume large amounts of soy don't have these wild mood swings and the hot flashes to the level that we do here in the West. Why is that? Goes back to their diet. And they don't have the issue of obesity like we do here. Their diets are very much more healthier than ours, and that includes a lot of soy. So keep that in mind. Now, how much should I consume? How do I get it? I always recommend a good protein drink, and vegetable protein like soy is so much easier assimilated and broken down by the body than animal protein. And so the benefits, just there's no fat, there's, I just recommend a good protein drink. And I'd be happy to share with you which one I use. But I just really recommend that you don't believe all the news headlines that you hear, because what happens is they don't care about your health. They just care about getting your attention and selling ad spots, So make sure that when you hear a news that says something is really bad for you, take it with a grain of salt and then do your research, because a good chance is that study that they're sensationalizing probably has no valid. Again, if you have any questions, I highly recommend that you get with me and we'll talk about, your own specific needs. So if you have any questions, call me, contact me, message me, whatever, and I'll be happy to answer it. And for today's free giveaway, I'm going to give you access to a good information about nutrition and maybe kind of what your doctor wasn't taught. Because remember, doctors, and I love them because they help us with so many things. They go to school for, treating illness and injury after the effect. They don't have a lot of time in their curriculum to learn about preventing illness. All right, that's our job. That's your job. That's my job. That's all our jobs, to keep us healthy. It's not your doctor's responsibility to keep you healthy. It's your responsibility to keep you healthy. So do your homework, do your research. Don't be a lazy consumer, and don't buy into all the myths, especially about soy. All right, so look down in the comments below for my free giveaway today, and hope you have a wonderful, healthy, happy day. Thanks, guys. Take care.